one is life shows itself to you. You know what you don't want. You know what you do want. And in that step one, you are launching these rockets of desire. Step two is your inner being stands firmly in alignment and in vibrational sameness as your desire. And law of attraction gathers all of those components in a vibrational state that you cannot see or hear or smell or taste or touch. But you can, if you're in the receptive mode, you can feel it. You can feel when you're lined up with what you want, and you can feel when you are not. And so step three is you getting into that alignment. And then step four is just getting really good at it. Step four is becoming a vibrational match to it, a steady vibrational match to it. Step four is being such a vibrational match that you are a master of it, that you really know readily when you are vibrationally out of whack and when you are vibrationally in sync with what you want. And then step five is our favorite step of all. That's where you're back in step one and it's all right with you. That's when you're having another new step one moment and you are understanding the value of it because expansion comes from it. If it were not for the opportunity to experience new contrast, you or none of us would continue to expand. And so we wanted so much for you to accept the reality of this vibrational reality. And after all, why should you? It hasn't manifested, so you can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it. You can't point it out to others. They can't confirm to you that it is there. You can feel it, but so often if you want confirmation from others and others aren't there and they can't see it. So we've been having Esther wave her arm around showing you this vortex. Wrote a whole book about it too, in fact. 2 books about this vortex so that you would expect the realness of it. But until it starts becoming a reality that you can see, often you don't accept it as a reality. And that's the first thing that we want you to begin to understand. We want you to be able to accept that there is a vibrational beginning place, just like there is a fetus in the womb for several months before there is a baby in your arms. There is a gestation period, and yet you accept the reality of that even though you can't rock it in your arms yet. And you say, well, there are ways that we can see and know that it's there. And we say, yes, but stop nitpicking with us. Just go with the flawed analogy that there is a gestation period, and more and more and more and more and more, these vibrations turn to thoughts and those thoughts turn to things. And the experience of those vibrations turning to thoughts and those thoughts turning to things is such a delicious and glorious experience. In fact, that's what you came for. You keep thinking that you came for the manifestation, for the car in the garage, or for the lover in the bed, or for the money in the bank. In fact, sometimes you said to us as we were really giving you a lot of information about this vortex, all right, you said to us vibrationally. We hear it all. How do I get the money out of the vortex and into the bank? When does it come out where I can enjoy it? And we say, you must become a decipherer, an interpreter, a receiver of the vibration, because it is through your perception of it that it becomes reality for you. This turning these thoughts to things is subtle in the beginning. If you're not tuned to it, you don't feel the satisfaction of its existence. And that's a key word that we're wanting you to follow us through in this day. The satisfaction of its existence, even though it's not a full-blown manifestation. That's the key for you. That's the key to living happily ever after. You have to accept that there is a reality that exists, and you must feel satisfaction in its existence before you can be in the receptive mode where you can lead it, follow it, experience it, witness it all the way out into this full-fledged vibrational, but see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it reality. So often your creation is unfolding. But because it is so important to you that you and others see it, that when you look for it and it isn't fully matured and you can't see it, then you doubt it. You see its absence rather than its presence. And so then you offer a vibration of contradiction about it, which holds you in a place where you're not in the receiving mode, and then your witnessing of its evolution ceases for the time of your doubt. You're following? So once you get the hang of this, once you understand that you are the creator of your own reality, and that you can be or do or have anything that you choose. And that as you are the creator, that you have created so many things. You have a vibrational reality, this vortex that we're talking about, that has so much content, it would keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes to experience the manifestation of it. It is magnificent what you and your lives have gathered for you. But now, you've got to tune to it. You've got to perceive it. You've got to receive it. You've got to be the translator of it. And as you are, we're talking about following impulses. We're talking about getting tuned in, tapped in, turned on. We're talking about starting your day in a neutral vibration because you've slept in the night and your momentum has stopped. And you've meditated this morning, and so your vibration is in sync with who you really are. And as you move into the day under those conditions, your receptiveness will be such that there will be subtle impulses that you may not even understand the meaning of. All you will know is it's a good feeling impulse that you wish to follow. And as you do follow, as you wish to follow that good feeling impulse, then what happens is it leads to another and another and another and another until there's a full manifestation. And oh, you are so beautiful and so happy as you recount those manifestations. As you talk about how you met and how you were over there and different things. It's really quite nice to see you in the awareness of how this manifestation came about. And you have so many examples in your own life that will undoubtedly awaken as we are moving forward in these hours that we are together. A woman said to us recently, sitting in the hot seat, that she had been wanting to come to one of these gatherings. And there was one coming to a city not so far from her, although it seemed a bit out of reach to her, and she didn't have the money to come or travel. And she was talking with a friend, a good friend. They talk about law of attraction all the time, she said. And so she was talking to her friend, and the workshop was getting closer and closer, and she was remaining good feeling about it. You might say hopeful, but hopeful has a mix of resistance in it. So she was more than hopeful. She was really expecting that somehow it was going to happen, even though people in her family thought she was crazy because she couldn't afford it, and yet she remained positive thinking about it. So one morning, just a few days before the gathering, she was walking with a friend in the woods, and they were talking about law of attraction and how powerful it is and how fun it is to know about it and how good feeling they are and what a beautiful day it was. And she looked over in the woods, in the leaves, and she saw something. The sunlight caught her eye, and she went over and came up with an earring, a big diamond earring. Can't possibly be real. It's way too big to be real. But it was. Had a value of $5,000. She came to the workshop. And of all the people sitting in the audience, she lighted up nice and bright. We found her over there. She came up, told the story to everyone. And most people think, oh, what a lucky thing that was. And we say, what a law of attraction thing that was. And what a receptive mode she was in. A receptive mode that made it possible for her to be walking at the right time in the right place and looking just right when the sunlight was shining just right. How about that? At the same gathering, another woman told us another similar sort of story. That she also wanted to come to a gathering, also was waiting to gather up the money, didn't know how she was going to do it either. And a friend said that she would help her with her flight. And so she got her through an airline affiliation on standby. And the two of them were flying from two different cities to Chicago. And so she got to the airport and the flight filled and there wasn't room for her. But she didn't feel discouraged because she'd been thinking about it for a while and she really believed she would get on the flight. And then the next flight filled and she didn't get on it either. But she still didn't lose her feeling of expectation. She called her friend who was just boarding her flight from her city. And she said, I didn't get on the first two flights. And her friend said, well, maybe you could get a flight to another city and then you could get a flight from that city into Chicago. That's a possibility. And so the woman went to the help counter and she proposed that to the woman behind the counter. And the woman said, well, where is it you're wanting to go? And she said, I'm wanting to go to Chicago. And she said, wait a minute. And she looked and she said, I think I can get you on this flight. And so she gave her the gate assignment and off she went. And when she got onto the aircraft, she was the only passenger on it. It was a great big airplane that was being moved, and she was the only passenger on the airplane. The captain said, "Good morning, ma'am." The flight attendant stood in front of her and did the... all just for her. When you are a cooperative component to your own desires, all providence moves too. All things that are a vibrational match to your desire are already lined up. The question is, are you lined up with your desire? And the answer is, if you're feeling good, yes, and if you're not feeling good, no. So, I want to talk today about what it takes to be in that satisfaction mode. Because we know sometimes it feels to you like you are a long way in terms of time or space from the unfolding of something that you want, but you really are not. You're just a vibrational smidgen away. You're just a little vibrationally out of tune because of habits of thought that you could change, just not all at once. And so we'll talk today about whatever you want. It is our intention to help you through our conversation together to find a vibrational stance of more allowing, a vibrational stance of more believing, a vibrational stance that causes you to be in that vibrational place, in that receptive mode where you get to receive, where you feel an impulse that is so strong, and when you follow that impulse, it leads to something that is more and more and more. And after a little while, you'll be so sure of this process, so sure of how it works, and so aware of where you stand in it because you're aware of how you feel, that you'll be able to, little by little, contour more and more of your thoughts so that you're more and more in the receptive mode of more and more of the things that you want.